All right, let's get into it. You know how it is. Every week, millions of us are glued to our screens watching European soccer, and we're relying on gut feelings, passion, maybe some expert opinions to figure out what's happening. But what if there's a whole other layer to the game, one you can only see through data? Well, today, we're going to peek behind the curtain and see how our professional data model is completely changing how we understand the beautiful game.
I mean, it's the biggest question for any fan, right? Is a win all about that last-minute magic, that sheer willpower? Or is it actually the result of patterns hidden deep inside the numbers that we can't see? So let's put it to the test. Your gut feeling versus cold, hard data.
And our guide for this whole thing, we've got our hands on a professional analyst's report. You can think of this as our secret dossier for today's investigation. We're going to break down exactly what it found and see what the numbers are telling us about this week's most important games. Okay, let's jump right into the good stuff. The report zeroes in on what it calls the top 3 cases. These are the predictions that the data model is most confident in, the ones it's really banging the table on for the upcoming matches.
Now this is really cool. Look at how the model breaks down its picks. First, you've got the banker. That's the model's absolute strongest bet. Napoli to win. Then, there's the value play, which is Inter Milan to win. This means the model thinks there's a way better chance of this happening than the public odds are giving it credit for. And finally, the safety shield, a defensive bet on a low-scoring game.
And this chart, it shows you exactly how confident the model is. That huge 50% chunk for the banker tells you the data is practically screaming for Napoli win. It's the most reliable trend it found this week. The other picks are strong too, but you can see the different levels of certainty the model's calculated. But why? Why is the model so sure about these picks? This is where it gets really interesting. We're about to go from what the model predicts to why it's predicting it. We're going to uncover the hidden clues, the little details the model found that led to these big conclusions. So our first clue is something called AFCON disruptions. This is all about the Africa Cup of Nations, which is a massive international tournament. When it's happening, European clubs have to say goodbye to some of their star players who go off to play for their home countries. And trust me, for these top clubs, it's a huge deal. So what does this actually mean on the field? Well, it blows holes in the starting lineup. It's a real stress test of how deep a team's roster actually is. The report flags both Napoli and Atalanta as teams feeling the heat. But here's the kicker. The model's big insight is that Napoli, they've got the backup. Their bench is strong enough to fill those gaps. Okay, our next clue is one you probably won't hear about on your average pregame show. Pitch friction. It sounds super technical, but it's pretty simple. Things like cold weather and humidity can literally make the grass slower, causing the ball to drag. So the next time you see a team that's known for its zippy passing game look like they're playing in mud on a cold night, it's not just an off day. It's literally physics. And this isn't just some abstract idea. The report connects this directly to the Torino versus Udinese match. The weather forecast for that game points to high pitch friction. That's going to slow down attacks, make teams play more cautiously, and it strongly supports that prediction of a low-scoring game. And our third clue? It's all about playing the long game. Energy management. The best teams aren't just thinking about this weekend's match, they're thinking about the title race in April. It's like a marathon runner. You don't sprint the first mile, you pace yourself for the whole 26. And the report gives us a perfect example. Inter Milan. Their most important players are coming into this match fresh because they've been rested. But here's the cool part. The model also predicts a specific tactic. If Inter gets a comfortable 2-goal lead after the 70-minute mark, watch for them to hit the brakes and switch to a cooling protocol, slowing the game down to save their energy for bigger fights ahead. Okay, so we've got our clues: player disruptions, the weather, and smart energy management. Now it's time for the aha moment. Let's put it all together. This is the part where we connect the dots and see exactly how this evidence solves our 3 big cases. Let's start with case file number 1, the banker. A Napoli win with a whopping 89% confidence. The model looked at the AFCON problem, sure, but then it saw Napoli's fortress of a home stadium and their deep bench. The verdict? Case closed. The disruptions just aren't big enough to stop them. All right, on to case number 2, the value play. That's Inter Milan to win at 86% confidence. The key clue here was their brilliant energy management. So you've got a fresh, rested, and powerful Inter squad going up against a Parma team that the data shows is, well, pretty shaky on defense. And that combo right there is where the model smells value. And finally, to wrap up our investigation, case number 3, the safety shield, the prediction for a low-scoring game. And the number 1 clue? that high-pitch friction we talked about. The verdict is simple. The weather itself is going to dictate a slow, tactical, grinding game. It's the model's safest bet for a very good reason.
So we've cracked the cases. Let's just step back for a second and look at the big picture. What does this new way of looking at things, a way that analyzes everything from squad depth to the humidity in the air, what does it all mean for the future of soccer?
Now look, the point of all this isn't to suck the soul or the passion out of the game we love. Far from it. It's about adding a whole new layer of understanding, like seeing the game in high def for the first time. It lets us appreciate the hidden forces at play that shape what we see on the pitch.
Which kind of leaves us with this big question to chew on. As these data models get smarter and smarter, are they just pulling back the curtain on the game's timeless secrets? Or are they, spoiling the magic just a little bit by explaining it all away? Something to think about for sure.